it's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to the InuYasha V-Logs. I'm actually filming this back-to-back with last week's episode, just to get them out of the way, but we've actually got a pretty kick-ass two-part episode here. It is kind of filler, but it does advance the story, so that is a given. So this episode, I can't remember what the arc is, but I'll put it in the title of this thing, but we have InuYasha finally learning how to make the Tetsaiga break through Naraku's barrier. And basically it opens with the characters playing a card game, which I think is actually kind of fun. You think, you know, if Kagome's coming back with all these ninja foods and munchies and stuff, why not bring out a couple of games to, like, kind of pass over? Like, you know, you pack a couple of card games. I don't know. Look, if this was made now, she'd be packing cards against humanity, and it would be hilarious. So, opens with them just kind of discussing things, and Miyoga shows up to follow InuYasha after the talk with Totosai in last week's episode, where to say, hey, there is a way to make Tetsaiga stronger where you can break Naraku's barrier, and you have to go slay the giant bat demons in this mountain thing and harness the blood to forge into Tetsaiga, or to soak into it. So, spoiler alert, it is kind of like Godzilla vs. Kong, where Kong has to go to, like, this magical land and, like, go into a cave full of bat things and obtain a weapon. It's Godzilla vs. Kong. It's the whole Kong Hollow Earth story. And I freaking love it. So this, basically has it where our heroes go on this quest to figure out what's going on with this bat thing so they can use the absorb it into the sword. But in doing so, they come across, a village that has another, demon problem. And this demon problem is, of course, the bat demons. But compared to that, there is also a little girl named Shiori? I was going to say, like, I was going to do a bum review. It's like, little girl named Little Girl. No, her name is Shiori. And Shiori is a character that actually will have some staying power. In fact, she appears in Yashahime. She actually makes a comeback, so that means she is sort of a character with a lot of staying power. I don't know if she appears in later parts of this series, like of the original InuYasha series, but we'll have to find out. So, basically, she is being held captive by her grandfather, who is this giant man-bat thing. It's literally Man-Bat from the Batman comics. And it's her grandfather, and, you know, obviously her father was a demon who married a human, and they had a half-demon. And it basically, you know, your typical, let's go get this thing, oh, there's some conflict, oh no, there's, this poor girl is, actually, you know, suffering and everything because she's being held hostage against her will. The, grandfather says, if you try to attack me, she will die, so InuYasha's conflicted. You also have a mother character, which is actually really cool. It was kind of reminding me of, what is her name, Nani from Lilo and Stitch. That kind of dynamic happening. But, of course, they have to back off, and then part 2 is this big battle with all these bat demons, which was actually pretty solid, and they deals with some conflict. You have it where the grandfather actually killed his own son because he felt he was a pest who married a woman, made him weak, and so the girl, her granddaughter gets really pissed off and kills him and destroys him, but then gives the orb to InuYasha to use to create the Tetsaiga barrier, and then it leads to the grandfather coming back again. This fucker will not die, and basically kind of where InuYasha has to crack open this jewel thing to harness the energy to put into Tetsaiga, and it does actually end with him obtaining the red Tetsaiga. Achievement unlocked, InuYasha, good for you. Achievement unlocked, red Tetsaiga. This thing is able to break barriers, and so that's really it. It is a very, not much in terms of plot. It's kind of the same repetitive stuff we've seen over and over again with certain filler episodes, but it does add some stuff that I actually really like, and I'll get to those first. First of all, the writing on this episode's pretty solid. For one, the humor works, especially at the beginning, with the poker game and all that stuff. Like, all the humor still works and all the dialogue still works, but one thing it does is it does also evolve InuYasha as a character. The last episode, which involves Shinto and the Big Brother thing, that was a nice little addition, but it actually expands more into this, where we see more that InuYasha is now realizing the situation is more complicated than he originally intended going into this quest, because he has to realize that there's this little girl who's a half-demon who has been ridiculed, who has been felt like an outcast by humanity and pushed aside and bullied, and he relates to that, and we see a lot of flashbacks and are reminded that as a child, InuYasha was outcasted. He was solo because humanity rejected him as a half-breed. You see it with flashbacks with his mother Izayoi. You see flashbacks of him actually running away from these demons, which it's little kid InuYasha. That's adorable. And Richard Ian Cox, actually, because again, I watched the English dub, did sort of a higher pitch version, which I think is adorable. I love that, so props to Richard Ian Cox on this episode. Really gave it all in these last three, which I'm really kind of surprised by. But anyway, so that's actually a big dynamic in this episode, and you see his confliction and his struggle with trying to realize this is more complicated than I expected, and I gotta be careful, and a lot of his friends start realizing, oh wow, like he actually does have an issue here, and you can see it's really toying with him. Even Kagome's kind of comforting him, saying, hey, we'll help you out. We get it, man. We get it. You've been through the same shit this little girl has, that Shiori has, so we'll help you. So that's great. The bad demon designs I actually really liked. I loved the main head demon. It was like a mix of Man-Bat, what's her name? What's the name of the dark person? Tsubaki. That Tsubaki look with the hair and stuff. A bit of the spider demons from that the black-haired InuYasha arc, with the little fangs and stuff, but it was kind of a combination. So the designs in this episode were pretty damn cool. I really like the villain of the week in this episode. The designs were great. Third thing, the animation. Again, this is an animated, the animation on this episode, there's a lot of filler episodes and a lot of episodes in the season where they put some damn good money into the animation. I was pleasantly surprised how well it looked, especially watching it on, as I've said before, I watched, last week I did watch these on a projector. And the animation looks great. There's some great environment shots in this episode, in this two-parter that I really liked. So that's a major plus. Other than that, there are parts where it drags. You could have maybe done this in one part, but I do appreciate the fact that they made it two parts to make it more of an important event episode. And it feels like maybe they might have bitten off a bit more than they can chew, but you can tell that they actually were like, hey, let's put out a good story here while we're passing the time while Takahashi continues writing the manga, or at least we can catch up. So there's a lot of that happening here, and, I mean, aside from that, it's fine. It's a good story arc. I really don't have much else to say. These fillers have been, especially these three, have been quick, snappy, not too long, not too drag, aside from this one. This could have been one episode, but they made it important because it does continue the story, because it does involve InuYasha getting this new power, and on top of that, Shiori will return. It's like an MCU. Shiori will return in the InuYasha MCU. Yeah, she will return in Yashahime, which I really like. So that's a major plus with this one. So, I don't know, I'd probably give this one a good, maybe about a 6 out of 10. It only lose 1 point shorter to last week's episode, because last week's episode had a lot of charm to it. It was quick, it was snappy, it was to the point, it had a great side character. This one has some great moments, it does, but it does ultimately drag. And it just feels like, hey, we have this great concept for a story in the show. Okay, let's go for it. And then they realize halfway through, oh crap, we might have made this too long. I think I might have gone too far in a few places, as George Lucas would say. And it feels that. And you can kind of feel it in this episode that they kind of realized how much they did. And now they have to realize, okay, well now, no turning back. We just got to put it out there. And so it does ultimately suffer in that regard. So a good 6. It does continue the story, but it does lose a point for being a little tad too long. So I enjoyed it, and I'm pretty sure if you want to continue Season 3, good place to keep going. So, of course, guys, let me know your thoughts on this arc in the comments section below. And, of course, don't forget to support us on Patreon. Just $1 or more will get you access to all of our content, as well as other special features. And all the funds will be going towards a potential InuYasha fan film, as well as more funds to continue our productions here at the studio. Because of COVID, we can't really do any big productions until this thing passes until we're able to all socialize in groups again, which might take a while, but we're going to persevere, and we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep making content for you guys. So tune in next week when we get to an arc that I've actually been kind of looking forward to this season. It is kind of filler, but it's also kind of fun. This is one I know is one of the highlights of Season 3 for a lot of fans, because it was advertised heavily, and it actually, a lot of fans really enjoyed this one. This is up there with like the Faithful Night and Togen show, among a few other episodes in this season. So, until the next video, guys, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off, saying, if you come across giant bats in a mountain, make sure you get some form of weapon that you can use to upgrade your power and abilities in fights to come. Much like InuYasha, and much like King Kong. I love both of these franchises! They are like the most peaceful communities I could ask for. You never see anything toxic in this community ever. I love it. I'm patting this out. Until next time, guys. See you later. Enjoy. I'll see you guys next time.